So we're gonna stand in a neutral position. I'm actually on my mat. My feet are pointed forward and right underneath the hips. Okay, so we're gonna agree that that's a neutral position. Okay, so we're gonna start by warming up our feet a little bit. So take one foot in front of the other, and we're just gonna roll to the outside part of the ankle and then bring it back to neutral. This is gonna stretch out mostly the outside part of the ankle. I'm gonna show you guys where, right underneath the bump there. It's called the malleolus, kind of a techie term. Kind of stretching out the day. One more of these ankle stretches. Bring that foot back to your neutral position. Keep your posture nice and tall. Let's do that on the other foot. Okay, let's do 2 more of these ankle tilts. Awesome. Okay, step back to neutral. Now we're going to do a side lunge. My mat is a little diagonal to the camera, so I'm actually doing a squared lunge. Bend the outside leg. Now the straight leg, we're going to stretch the inside of the ankle by rolling it in and back to neutral. Right? Same idea, just the inside of the ankle underneath that same kind of bump, i.e. that malleolus. We're just going to do 1 more of these and bring it back. Step back to your neutral position, and then we're going to do the other lunge, side lunge the other way, right? And go ahead and start those stretches there. Make sure your posture is staying nice and tall. And then 1 more of these here. All right, awesome. Go ahead and step back into neutral position. You guys can keep your camera there. Amy, I'm just going to move mine up a little bit. So next we're going to do is we're just going to put hands on the side of the ribs, standing in that neutral position. Take some nice deep breaths. And you just want to feel the comparison on the left and right sides of the ribs. What you're feeling for is as you breathe, is one side more restricted than the other, or are they the same? If they're not the same, that's actually more common, and you want to try to make them feel the same as you go. We're going to do about 4 more breaths. Maybe you can hear these birds. I've got these great birds right now outside. Good, 2 more breaths. So really kind of work on getting those ribs to expand and open up. And hopefully getting them a little more even. 1 more breath to go. And full exhale here. Okay, we're actually going to keep breathing, so it wasn't the last breath we'll ever do. So we're going to keep breathing, but it's the last one we're going to kind of focus on really closely with our hands on the ribs. So the next one is going to move the hips. I adjust my camera a lot, move down a little bit. So for the hips, we're going to go back to a neutral stance, and you're going to take one leg, I don't care which one, and lift it out in front of you. Okay, now you might notice this might be a little bit of balance challenge. I think Amy's going to be fine. Bring the leg down. So now what we're going to do is take that leg in front. As you balance, I want you to internally and externally rotate from the hip and determine which one of those 2 positions is tighter for you. Okay, so for me, internally rotating is a little bit tighter than externally rotating. Once you've identified that, you can take another break by lowering the leg. We're going to do this exercise in the position that was tighter for you. So it's a little more custom, right? So for me, I'm going to go internal. Pick the 2 positions that was tighter for you. And we're going to be tracing some circles in front of the pelvis. So you're balancing, and you have your leg in the more restricted position for you. And then change direction of those circles. Cool, 1 more circle. Great, and then bring it back down. So you might have felt a ton of work on the standing leg, and that's normal. So you're gonna feel the calf, you're gonna feel the hips, everything strengthening. So let's do that on the other leg. Start neutral, take the other leg in front, go internal and external, because it might be different from the other side. Mine isn't. Internal is still a little bit tighter. So take a break for a second. Remember the position that was tighter for you. Bring it back up, put it in that position, and start your circles. Great, change the direction of the circles. Awesome. Okay, bring the leg down and then shake out any tension. You likely felt something through your calves and your hips. Great, so now we're gonna move up to the upper middle part of the spine. So we're gonna actually move our spine forward and back. Okay, but you can't see your spine, right? If you can, that's weird. Maybe you have some cool mirrors, I don't know. But you're just gonna rub around your sternum area because our ribs connect the spine around to the sternum. So if we think about moving the sternum, it's gonna move the spine a little bit. So you're gonna take your sternum and you're gonna push that breastbone up towards the ceiling. So it's more of a diagonal and you're gonna feel that upper back arching a little bit. Okay, now take a breath in, exhale, draw the spine back. So basically you're rounding through the upper back. So we're gonna do that again. Push this chest up, inhale. So it's arching and lengthening the spine in the upper middle back, and then exhale, start to round it. Okay, now you can stay facing the camera. I'm gonna do the exercise facing the side just to give you another view. Right? You don't have to turn to the side, so you don't have to turn your neck when you're watching, but just so you can see. Kind of spine moving forward and back. Let's do one more together. I'm gonna turn around. And then rounding a little bit there. Okay, come back to a neutral position and relax. The last one I'm gonna do to warm up before we get on the floor is for the shoulders, specifically the shoulder blades. So we're gonna move one of your shoulder blades. Again, you can face the camera. I'm gonna face the side and do it with you. So you're gonna take the arm straight in front, make a soft fist, look forward, and then you're gonna take the shoulder blade and you're gonna pull it back towards your spine and then round it forward, kind of like you're punching the arm forward and then pulling it back. So you can think about maybe you have something like a flower and you're gonna give it to somebody. You're like, nah, I think I'm gonna keep it. So you pull it back towards you. So we're just sort of rounding the shoulder blade and pulling it back in. One more. Good, go ahead and relax and shake the tension out there. We're gonna do those on the other side. I'll face you this time. Take your other arm in front, soft fist. Pull the flower back, shoulder blade comes back, and then hand the flower to your friend. Right? Pull it back. Okay, a couple more. And then one more, really kind of getting some nice blood flow around to that upper back area, right? So often that's why we're here in Pilates, right? I want to start to feel those muscles activating. Cool, so now we're gonna come on down to the floor. I'm gonna change the camera position. Amy, you might wanna do that too so I can see you. And I'm going to move my microphone, so I'm just gonna mute it for just a second. Cool, and I'm back. All right, so the first position we're gonna do is we're gonna be seated and we're gonna be right on top of the sitting bones and you're going to lift your feet, pointing the toes inwards. Now, we're not gonna roll back on the mat right now. You're gonna hold on to your lower legs with the elbows bent. And we're just gonna lower the spine a little bit by rounding it, but not enough to roll off the sitting bones. So you're gonna control it, look at your toes, and then come back. So you're trying to keep your feet still, and you're trying not to lose control by rolling or dropping the feet. Good job. See if you can challenge yourself a little more by straightening the elbows a little more on the way back. There you go. And come up. And we're tightening the navel to spine, and it's a skin deep contraction. So you think about that, it's really about a 1/4 inch of movement of the skin inwards. And that's all we need to contract the muscles that we're working here. So just keep that area pulled in nice and tight so we can get strong through the abs. We're gonna do one more of these. Great job, Amy. And now lower the feet and then scoot your hips forward because we're gonna lay back on the floor. You're gonna keep your knees bent as you come down, about like that, okay? So your feet are gonna be about hip distance apart, toes pointed forward. We're going to extend the arms on the mat. So you're gonna press the arms back down to activate your triceps. So think about pulling the back of your elbow towards the back of the shoulder to get a nice strong tricep contraction. We're gonna do a bridge. So just lift the hips up nice and high, squeeze your glutes tight, okay? And then start to lower your hips back to the floor. Excellent, we're gonna do a few more of those. Really engage the glutes. Use them to initiate this lift up. Keep them tight, keep them pulled in as you press the hips high. And when you come down, make it a very slow transition back to the floor. Good, maintain the triceps. So keep thinking back of the elbow to back of the shoulder. We're gonna do one more lift. Awesome, and then we're gonna come back down nice and easy, nice and controlled. Okay, cool. Now, that looked like fairly stable on you, or very stable. So now we're gonna add a challenge. We're gonna come up into our bridge, but we're gonna lift one leg off the floor. So you're gonna get up into your bridge, bring one leg up, and then we're gonna hold this for about 15 seconds. I'll count down every 5 seconds. So we got about 10 more to go. And about 5 more seconds to go. And start to lower that leg down and then bring your hips back to the floor. Okay, that looked great. Hopefully that felt okay. So we're gonna do it with the other leg, right? So we're gonna lift up, squeeze nice and tight, use those triceps, float that leg up, and then keep pushing your hips high. Good, keep that lift about 5 more seconds. Cool, start to lower that foot down, and then we'll lower the hips down. Awesome. Okay, bring your knees into your chest. Just kind of give yourself a hug. We're gonna rock just a little bit side to side, just to continue to loosen up the spine. Whew, that feels good, doesn't it? All right, awesome. Now, I'm just gonna check to see if we have any waiting list people, not right now. All right, so stay down on the floor. So now we're gonna do a little bit of leg exercises from Pilates. So if you've ever done some of the leg stuff on the reformer, you are reaching out into the springs and it activates and stretches a lot of leg muscles. When we do those same exercises on the mat, you're gonna notice they feel really different. So we're gonna start with taking the legs into a frog position. So the heels are together. The knees are gonna be a little bit wider than your shoulders and your arms are gonna come back down to the mat. So we're using those triceps again, a strong contraction of the triceps. And you're gonna press the legs out and then point the toes. Really straighten the knees and then bend the knees back into frog. Great, so when you press out, you wanna keep the lower back down on the mat. So if you feel it starting to arch or lift, you may need to take your legs a little more vertical. Keep the skin deep contraction of the abs so that navel's pulled in to maintain that strength toning that we're having to the lower abs. My voice always gets a little shaky because you can feel the challenge in these. So clearly these are more abdominal strengthening on the mat versus the leg strengthening on the reformer. Okay, let's do one more of these. Great, come back into frog. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the legs all the way together. You're gonna keep the toes pulled up, you're pressing out through the heels, and we're just gonna press out, keep the legs together, and then bend the knees, come in. Okay, one more. And bring it in. Good, so rock it out side to side. So these are really great. So we're mobilizing the joints. We're getting a lot of stretching to the legs. If you're able, and I can see you're able to straighten the knees all the way, and that helps with the stretching, particularly of the hamstrings. But the load of the legs on the mat just really gives us that extra abdominal strength training component. So now we're going to do a bicycle. So you're going to go back to the frog position, keep the arms down, and you're going to reach out, point the toe, and both legs move into this cycling motion. So the knees stay about as wide as the shoulders, and the feet are a little more in. Make sure that low back is staying nice and flat down on the floor. And bring that in. Nice job. Okay, great. So it wouldn't be a Pilates class if we didn't do the 100. So we're gonna do that next. So start with the legs in a tabletop position and take the arms up to the ceiling. We're gonna inhale to prepare, exhale, nod the chin to your chest, lower the arms down. And if you wanna straighten your legs out, you can. You're gonna start pumping the arms up and down, and you're gonna inhale for 5, exhale for 5, ready, and go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 32, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 42, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 70, exhale, 80, exhale, 92, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 4, 5, last one, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Bring the knees in and roll that out. All right, hello abs, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna do, this is called a single leg stretch from Pilates. So you're gonna bring the head up. So if you're watching this at home, if you have any neck injury history or headaches, you can leave the head down and do the same exercise. So just be smart. If you don't have any head injuries, you can lift like I'm gonna demonstrate. Now, you're gonna take one leg out away from you, straighten the knee, point the toe, and you're gonna look at that toe. Of course, if your head is down, you'll be looking at the ceiling in a neutral eye and head position. Okay, we're gonna switch legs, right? And switch legs. Okay, and your focus is on the stretching leg. You wanna lengthen it out from the hip socket to stretch the front of the hips, as well as straighten the knee and point the toe. You're gonna get some nice lengthening through the leg muscles. Keep your back also rounded back down into the mat. Okay, one more on each side. And great job. Now that was called a single leg stretch. We stretched one leg at a time. The next one is a double leg stretch. So we stretch both legs at the time. Same thing with your head and neck position. Both legs reach out, arms come up overhead, behind you, circle the arms around and bring it back in. All right, let's do it together. Legs out, arms up and back, and circle around. If you don't have enough space to circle the arms, you can improvise and bend them a little bit. Up, out, circle, and in, and one more. Whew. All right, bring it in and rock it out. Okay, so the next one we're gonna do is a crisscross. So we're gonna rotate a little bit. So we start with the legs pulled in, and they're pulled in a little more than tabletop. Take your elbows wide with your hands behind your head, and you're gonna use the hands to support your head when you lift it. You're gonna stretch one leg out. You're gonna rotate inside towards the knee that's bent. Turn. When you come to center, you bring that stretched leg back in. So do the other leg, reach, turn, keep the elbows wide as you turn and bring it all back in. Good, Amy. Reach out, turn, and bring it all in. Good, other side, turn, and bring it back in. Awesome, one more time on each side. So this is gonna strengthen the obliques, and turn, and back in. So it's the side abdominals. It also strengthens our rotating of the spine, which can help with just general walking and energy conservation as we walk, okay? So relax and roll it out a little bit. I'm gonna stretch the hips a little bit. You're gonna put your hands on your knees, hold your knees with the hands, and we're just gonna circle around through the hips. So you keep the legs nice and relaxed, and just let the hips open up in this motion. Awesome. All right, change directions. Good, one more of these little hip circles here. Great, okay, now we're gonna rock on up to a seated position. So any way that that feels safe to you, we're gonna come all the way up. All right, cool. So now we're gonna actually roll back on the mat. I don't know if you remember earlier, we didn't roll back, but we thought about it. We kept a really controlled motion. Now we're gonna go into a full roll. So you wanna be towards the edge of one of your mats so that you have enough space to roll, so that you're not gonna bump into a cat or something that you have in the room. All right, so you're gonna bring the feet up off the mat, and we're gonna go right up on the sitting bones, and the toes are pointed inwards. We're gonna pull the abs in, and we're gonna roll. Just make sure you don't hit your head. When you come up, you don't wanna let the feet drop. So we're gonna control it and keep the feet off the ground. Awesome. Good. Go ahead and do 2 more, and you can concentrate on yourself and look at your feet there and just feel that nice centering feeling from that nice rolling. Okay, 1 more. Cool. All right, so lower your feet down. Good job. So that was perfect. So we're gonna make it just a little more challenging. So for this one, it's very similar, but we're gonna stretch the legs out. It's called open leg rocker. So what we're gonna do is you lift the feet, you point the toes, you take the hands in between the legs, you wrap them around to hold on to the ankles. Oh, this is a different exercise, sorry. Let's do this one. You're gonna take the hands around the outside. We'll do the other one later. So you're gonna hold on to the ankles on the outside. You're gonna take one leg and you hold it while you stretch it out. Good, bend it in, take the other leg and hold it while you stretch it out and bring it in. Go ahead and do that one more time. Good, and then do the other leg and bring it in, okay? So now we're gonna stretch both legs out and then roll. When you come up, you wanna balance and keep the feet up, and there you go. And roll back again. So your legs are in a V, right? 2 more. Nice, Amy, 1 more. And when you come up, go ahead and bend the knees and lower your feet down. Good job. All right, scoot your hips back. So we're gonna stay seated right on the sitting bones, and your feet are gonna go a little bit wider than the mat, and you're gonna sit up nice and tall. The arms come in front. This is called a spine stretch. So it starts with nodding your chin to your chest. You reach the arms forward to round the upper back, and that's how it stretches your spine. And then you're gonna bring everything back up, stacking up nice and neat. All right, let's do it together. Nod the chin, pull the abs in, and reach through the fingertips. Keep the navel pulled to spine, and then stack it all back up. Nice, 2 more. And just concentrate how it feels. You have the motion, so you can keep your eyes more centered on your body to keep everything nice and aligned. So you can kind of watch along the mat in a straight line as you reach forward. And then as you come back, and your eyes go back forward. Great, go ahead and lower the arms down. And now we're gonna do some exercises on our stomach. So you can kind of move your body around. And the first one we're gonna do, we're going to bring your hands just a little bit wider than your shoulders, and your forearms and elbows are gonna be all the way on the mat. Now your legs and feet are gonna be turned out with the toes pointed. And my legs are usually apart the width of the mat. I recommend doing that. You could also come into a Pilates V, which is heels together, okay? Now, you're going to take your head pretty close to the mat. Your nose is gonna be about 1 inch or 2 from the mat. The abs are tight and pulled in. You lift the nose forward and the chest lifts. And then you may lift the elbows off the mat as long as that feels okay to you. Good, keep the abs tight. Keep the navel pulled to spine. And we're gonna lower down slowly until your nose is about 1 inch from the mat again. All right, so let's do that again. Go ahead and lift everything up. Use your abs and glutes and hamstrings to lift you. So you wanna have strong muscle contractions. You don't wanna have too much relaxation in the body. So this is actually a contraction of the glutes, the back muscles, the hamstrings to create that lift. Okay, let's do 2 more. Good, and you gotta listen to your own body on it. You don't wanna go further than feels comfortable. So stay in a safe range for you. Awesome, Amy, good, come all the way down. Now, the next one we're gonna do is you're gonna turn onto one cheek. So you might wanna turn on your right cheek so you can see the camera. So the first, I'm gonna demonstrate this one, the legs come together. You interlace the hands and place them on your back with the elbows wide. We kick the legs 3 times, so you bend the knees. When your feet go down to the floor, we arch the back, you stretch the shoulders, you lift the chest, and you lower down to the opposite cheek, okay? So Let's do one together and then I'll watch. So legs together, feet together, toes pointed, hands on the back. Now, bend the knees 3 times to kick the feet. Get the feet all the way on the floor and then stretch, lift up, open up that chest and turn to your opposite cheek. Okay, so I'm gonna watch. Now, there you go. Good, plant those feet, lift the chest. Great, and come down. Now bring your elbows towards the floor if you can, before you kick the feet. Yeah, like that. There you go, nice. Arch and lift, stretch. Good, do 2 more. Bring the elbows towards the floor to start. Yeah, and then the elbows will straighten when you lift that chest. There you go, that was the best one yet. I'm sure that felt really good. Last one. And this just stretches out that whole front side of the body. If you've been on the computer a lot, I'm on the computer a lot, this really opens up that whole front part of the chest that tends to get kind of tight often, right? All right, so after this one, we're gonna come into a little rest pose or like a child's pose, whatever's comfortable for your lower back, just to stretch all that out, right? So Pilates kind of has the magic ability of strengthening what is weak in the body and stretching what is tight. So you're going to be feeling stretches and strengthening, and it's often kind of custom to you. Sometimes, you know, it feels tighter in the neck and it's stretching, or the chest. Some people get stretching through the hips more. So each exercise kind of finds its way to benefit you. So come out of the child's pose, and then we're going to lay down on the side of our body, and we're going to do this is like balance work and hip strengthening. So we have about, there's 3 different positions that you can put your head and hand basically in this series. Some people feel really comfortable laying down like this. This is considered an advanced position, is up on the forearm. And then the intermediate position is we're down here on the elbow like that. So we're gonna do advanced for this class. So you're gonna bring the legs about 3 inches in front of the hips. You're gonna start with the feet flexed. Your free hand just comes in front of basically your ribs on the mat to support you. It's very important that your hips stay stacked during this series and that we're not wobbling a lot. So if you start to feel yourself wobbling, slow it down. Okay, you wanna get stable. Now the top leg, we're gonna lift it up, point the toe, externally rotate, lift, flex the foot, internally rotate, and lower. Point the toe, externally rotate, lift, flex, internally rotate, lower. Good, and the camera doesn't look like I'm internally rotating a lot, but I am. It's just the angle. And I'm just lifting and lowering right above the bottom leg. Okay, one more like this. All right, cool, now we're gonna reverse the position. So we're gonna internally rotate with that flexed foot to lift. Point, externally rotate to lower. Good, flex, internally rotate, coming right on top and then right down to that bottom leg, kind of like a pair of scissors would be. Good, 2 more. Awesome, okay, we're gonna do 1 more on this side. You're gonna flex the foot, internally rotate the hip. This is called a hot potato. So we actually bounce the big toe in front and back of the bottom leg. It's a tremendous amount of work on the outer hips right there. 7, and then 1 more. Great, bring the legs together. Awesome, did those feel good? Yeah, okay, let's do this on the other side. Okay, so up on the forearm, legs in front, hand down. Lift the top leg, point the toe, turn out, bring it up, flex the foot, turn in and lower down. Now keep the knee nice and straight. You may not want to lift so high. You want to keep that pelvis really stable. Yeah, there you go. Good. She's very flexible. Shouldn't be surprising, right? All right. Now we're going to reverse it. So flex, turn in and lift, point, turn out and lower. Nice, Amy. And one more here. Super. All right, let's do the hot potato. Somehow this just feels really nice on the foot. It stretches the foot out. Okay, last one. And bring the legs together. All right, cool. So we've got another exercise, a couple more we're gonna do. The next one is called teaser. If you've seen Pilates at all before, you've seen the teaser. It's probably the most popular Pilates exercise. So we're gonna start slow with it. We're gonna start with the knees bent, laying on the floor, and we're gonna put the hands around the back of the thighs, bring the legs together, point the toes. You're gonna bring your chin to your chest. You're gonna come up, stretch the legs out, look at your toes, and bend the knees, come in. Good, now take the hands out from the legs, starting with the hands up. Take your chin to your chest, come up, and then reach for the toes. Good, now when you come down, we're gonna straighten the knees out and bring the arms overhead. We're gonna come up like that. So tuck the pelvis a little bit, come all the way up into that full teaser. Awesome, one more like that. Beautiful, Amy. All right, great job. Okay, roll on your back, roll back onto your stomach. Okay, so we're gonna be on all four. We're gonna come on all fours. Sorry. So we're gonna go from the stomach up to all fours. And we're just gonna do a couple of cat stretches. So the fingertips point forward, the toes are pointed. You're gonna round the back, look up towards your navel, and then arch your back. Look over the horizon, right? Good. Round the back, bring those sitting bones closer to one another. And when you arch the back, separate the sitting bones. Good, two more. Oh, it feels so good. Excellent, let's come to a neutral spine. Tuck those toes under. We're gonna walk the hands towards the feet as we lift the hips into this nice elephant position. Now, if your calves are tight like mine, congratulations, we're getting a deep stretch. Now from here, we're gonna bring those heels up high, lower one heel and bend the opposite knee. And then repeat it, lift the heels high, lower the opposite heel, bending the opposite knee. This is called treading through the feet as we alternate sides. Keeping your neck as relaxed as you can, try to fully relax it and look up towards the knees or towards your tailbone. And this will be a nice stretch all along your back. Okay, one more of these. Now, after both heels come up, start to lower them. Walk the hands towards your toes and bend your knees a little bit. Relax those arms. We're going to come up to standing. Keep your knees nice and bent. And come all the way up. I got my head cut off. And so did Amy. All right, awesome. Let's do a little cool down standing up. Okay, I just bounce on your heels a little bit and shake out any tension through your shoulders. Okay, very good. All right, now very traditionally in the advanced workouts, Pilates routine finishes with a push-up. Now, not everybody can do push-ups, and push-ups don't mean you're healthy. Especially, a lot of women populations, we don't need to do push-ups on the floor, but I know Amy can. So we're gonna do 2 push-ups. So the Pilates style push-up is done like this. So we stand at the edge of the mat, and if you don't wanna do this at home, you don't have to, but you can do some push-ups on the wall, and I'll demonstrate those in just a second. So for Amy, feet hip distance apart at the edge of the mat, arms lift up, you come down into a forward bend, you walk the hands out into a plank position. When you're here, you're gonna do 2 push-ups. Whatever depth feels safe for you. Please don't do anything unsafe. And then you're gonna nudge your chin, walk back, bend the knees, and then we roll up. Now, if you're watching at home, and that didn't look fun, you can come over to your wall and you can do just a couple of push-ups here on the wall. It's probably my favorite way to do push-ups because it's feels very safe. It's very supported. And it's a great way to get some tricep strength and chest strength. All right, so that was our Pilates workout today. So I hope it was challenging enough for you, Amy. Cool, she gave me